Hello guys, welcome to our YouTube channel. In this session, I'm going to discuss about Apex triggers in Salesforce. So let's get into the video. So let's start with the introduction. So first point is we can perform a custom operations before or after events to the records. This means so triggers provided two events. One is a before and another one is a after records. Second point says that we can do things using triggers that we can do through Apex, including execution SOQL queries and DML operations or calling custom methods. With the help of Apex, we can do these operations to do triggers. SOQL queries is nothing but a Salesforce object query language, and DML we can say data manipulation language. To do with the help of these operation, we can do so third point says that trigger can be created both standard and custom objects. So coming to the next point, by default triggers are activated as if you created them. So later we can deactivate them as well, but as you create any triggers by default it should be activated. So next topic is types of triggers. So first one is a before trigger. So before trigger, it is used to update or validate a record values before save to the database. In simple words, we can say, so before a record saving to the database, if you want to do some updation in the record and you want to validate a record, so you can do that in this trigger with the help of before trigger. So next one is after trigger. After trigger, it is used to access field values that are sent by the system, such as IDs, and to make changes in other records. The records that are fired after the triggers are read-only. In simple words, we can say if you are using the after events, in that case, the record will be saved into the database and the ID will be available and also can update the other records as well as. So this is about the before trigger and after triggers. So this is a syntax for creating a trigger. So trigger, first we need to write a trigger. After that trigger name. So trigger name should specify the name of the trigger. On object name. Object name is nothing but the name of the object trigger will be fired. In this section, we have to mention the some trigger events should perform. So after that, we have to write our block code. So this is the syntax about how to create a trigger. So these are some trigger events should be performed whenever you are creating the triggers. Before insert, before update, before delete. In the after section, after insert, after update, after delete, after undelete. These are the some 7 events should be performed whenever you are creating the trigger. So this is a simple example I'm going to explain about how trigger works. So first is a trigger on account before insert. So this line declares the start of a new Apex trigger named on account trigger. So that will be operate on the account object. So in the event side, it will be declared as a before insert. So it specified that this trigger will run before new account records are inserted into the database. So next one is the system.debug. So trigger before insert event. So this line is a debug message to Salesforce debugging a logs. So it will print the message trigger before insert event when the trigger is executed. Next one is a account ACC is equals to new account and the bracket of name is equal to test. This line it will create a new instance of the account object and assign it to the variable account ACC. So the name field of the account record is set to be test. Insert ACC. So this line declares it will insert the ACC record into the Salesforce database, and since the trigger will execute before the insertion of an amount of account of record, this line is event that will be triggered. So we'll move on to the execute this code, for that we have to log in for Salesforce org. So I already logged in the account. This is a Salesforce org. First of all, we need to go to setup, developer console. In this developer console, we'll go to the file and click on the new. Here is an Apex trigger. I have to click on that. I have to mention account trigger. This is the name of the trigger. Is a S object. We have to choose the one specific object to perform. Here I am choosing the account object. Click on submit. So by default it will take as a before insert. So now I have to write this code. System dot debug trigger before insert event. This message will be displayed when I am executing this trigger. So this is a simple trigger I am executing. Now I am executing this code. For execute, go to debug, open execute anonymous window. Here is two line of code. You have to write to execute a particular code and select this code and execute it. See here, I'm not facing any error. It will showing success, but it will not automatically open the debug window. So to open the debug window, go to logs. Here is a one option, debug only. Click on that. Here I'm getting the output trigger before insert event. So this is a simple example which I have demonstrate like how it will use and how we can create a trigger in the Salesforce. Later on, us will execute some more example. This is all about the basic of the triggers. So I hope you understood this video.